I remember this one time we flew to Arizona to do a demo. I was supposed to do the demo. He was supposed to do the sales pitch. And something happened. My mom called me all hysterical about something, and I got really upset. And I was trying to really hide it from Jim because we were going to go to this major deal presentation. We're just sitting in the car. I couldn't even talk because I was so rattled. Jim is the kind of guy that even if you don't tell him anything, he would sense that out. And we came to the client, and without even saying anything, he just went out and did the demo too. Damn, flied me over to Arizona and graciously allowed me not to do my job. This was the only time he ever did the demo instead of me. So it was clear that this was, I got you.
So we have been married 34 years. Jim is from North County. Both of us were born and raised in St. Louis. He was a typical good kid. What happened was he saw a need in the industry and he knew what it needed. So he created that software.
And competing big players like Hyperion, that used to be the market leader, we were building the cloud version of a similar product, and we were successful with that.
When Jim started Host Analytics, there was no funds to support someone like Jim. You had to build your own network in town, or you went to the West Coast. And it was that journey and that educational process that imparted so many of the future ideas on Jim. You know, we were so lucky for him to bring that all back to St. Louis.
What I learned out in the Bay Area is what it means to really grow and how fast you grow.
Jim was groundbreaking in being able to come to Silicon Valley, attract high quality investors multiple times.
I think Jim is great when it comes to the early stages of the company. But he has demonstrated more than once, first of all, that he can get a company off the ground, which is really a big deal, and make it successful. And then at some point, turn it over either to an acquirer, right, like it happened in Top Ops, or to another CEO.
When I think of Jim, what makes him so unique is I'm pretty confident he's probably the nicest person I've ever met.
Humility is important, obviously, and starting a conversation with a smile is also very important.
So I would say in general, just the generosity and kindness are two words that I would describe Jim as a person.
His ability to stay even-keeled and calm in situations is definitely a gift for him.
The respect that he has for employees and the way he treats his employees, I think it has made him successful because people want to go the extra mile for him.
30 years ago when we started the first business, when payroll was tight and there wasn't money to meet all the payroll, he didn't get a paycheck.
He's a very religious man, and I think that's a steadying force in his life.
I think it's helpful to have something. I've always been big on my faith. That helps out quite a bit. But I did learn to be humble and thankful for everybody in the company. I mean, every part of these startups are essential, right? A startup equals essential people.
As entrepreneurs and CEOs, it's a lonely job. And when you can find somebody that does the same job and that you can talk to and has been through some of the things you've been through, I find that super valuable.
I don't think it's ever been about the money or the status or his ego or his own success. I think it's always been about how can I make an impact? How can I make a difference?
Creating a product that is beneficial to the industry and giving people jobs. That really motivates him. He's not worried about getting credit for things. He's more concerned about moving forward and hitting the wins for the team.
Jim is exceptional at understanding customer needs and understanding customer needs and reflecting them to a solution. So if you combine that with the ability to look over the horizon, you have some really innovative solutions.
I mean, Jim invented the customer success industry, right? I think most people would agree. And so, and that's grown. There are several companies in addition to Gainsight who are in that market. So it's really focusing in on what does the market need and what do they need right now.
His number one focus is the customer. And so he's always trying to understand in the problem that he's trying to solve, how is the customer going to be impacted?
The customer is so important. And it's so important for a founder to talk to the customers. You talk about keeping that passion and not losing that passion. The way when I have a bad day, you know what I do? I go talk to one of my customers. And they'll tell me, they'll even tell me a great story like, oh my gosh, Jim, this is the most wonderful thing. Look what it did this last quarter for me. Or they'll say, you know, Jim, if you did this here, that would improve things so much. Those kind of things just energize. It's like, oh my gosh, I was missing that.
I mean, I'm just so proud of Jim, and I think he's just done such a great job, and I'm so excited to see what he does next.
I know that my kids think he's the best dad in the whole world, and I know that they will always have a really close relationship. I couldn't imagine doing life with anybody else. We're really excited about, all the things that have happened and where we're headed from here.